Hey everyone, Jordan here. Welcome to Indonesia. Currently I'm at Nusa Putra University in Sukabumi. Very soon I'll begin my journey through the amazing country of Indonesia with all of its rich, beautiful history, landscapes, and traditions. So come join us as we dive in deeper to all that this country has to offer. Come on. I started the expedition in Sukabumi. The first destination we visited was the iconic bridge of Sukabumi Regency, namely the Situ Gunung Suspension Bridge. This destination, which is under Mount Gede Pangrango, has the longest suspension bridge in all of Southeast Asia. While in Situ Gunung, I spent about 4 hours trekking through the forest, crossing several suspension bridges, enjoying traditional art performances, as well as tasting local food, and of course feeling the coolness of the Lembah Purba waterfall. We also enjoyed the beautiful view of Mount Gede Pangrango off in the distance.
Woo! Yeah, so it was a great time getting up here. So the first thing we got to is obviously Situ Gunung, the bridge itself, the longest suspension bridge in all of Southeast Asia. But little did I know that was just the beginning. So once we crossed it, super cool. Then we strapped up and started hiking. So the first part of the hike was a little crazy. We were like walking on these ledges, going through just these.
We took a shortcut. Yeah.
Apparently,
and
yeah.
The shortcut was very adventurous.
So quite the experience. And then, as we trekked along, we had our amazing guide show us through all this stuff. We got to check out some edible plants along the way as well. Oddly tasty too. I was quite surprised at that. And then for the final bit, we literally just, you can't see it now, but we had all these raincoats on and just trekked through that entire waterfall. That's why, we're all a little soaking wet right now. But it was so...
It was like rain from the front.
So amazing. Yeah, you were getting thrown around in the best possible way though. You could really feel the power from nature coming from it.
Amazed by the beauty of the mountains, waterfalls, and forest at Situ Gunung Suspension Bridge, my curiosity was piqued about the abundant natural charm Sukabumi has to offer. I continued my journey for about 3 hours south of Sukabumi City to explore the natural beauty of the Chilita Geopark. There I enjoyed the expansive view of the Indian Ocean from the top of Dharma, did a little trekking to enjoy Cikente Waterfall, and finally enjoyed a beautiful sunset at Palangpang Beach.
I think it's super cool they have black beaches here. It's super unique because they have so many volcanoes, and it's from that that beat up molten rock is where the black color actually comes from.
Now that you say it, I didn't think of it actually. That's from the volcanoes.
Yeah.
Do you think there's a volcano right here?
Oh, there has to be one nearby.
Probably this mountain.
Yeah, pick a mountain. One's probably a volcano.
One's a volcano.
But those little houses out there are super cool too, that those fishermen use.
And it's I'm surprised that it's not touristic at all, because go to any country with a black beach, it's always touristic.
It's gonna be packed.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is really cool.
They just casually have beaches everywhere.
Oh no, this is just normal. I'm you have no idea how cool that is and what a gem that other countries don't have.
Yeah, seriously.
After exploring both of the iconic sites in the Sukabumi district, specifically the suspension bridge at Situ Gunung, as well as the geopark down in Palabuhan Ratu, with all of its beauty and uniqueness, we then continued our journey to the Batik house in Sukabumi City, which is named Lokatmala Batik. There, I could not stop smiling because of all the super interesting and amazing things we were learning firsthand, such as the different batik patterns using the wax and the differences between stamping and canting. Honestly, I find it very difficult to use the canting style, and personally I admit that my friend Noel is quite more adept at using that than I was. However, I did have a blast using the stamping method and even writing my name using the canting method on my own piece of batik.
Oh, I'm so excited. I haven't stopped smiling since I got here.
Yeah.
We got to learn everything from how the wax is made to the differences between, the stamps versus, what was the chanting. Yeah. Oh, the chanting was hard. My hand was shaking the whole time.
Yeah.
Noelle was much better at it than me. However, so cool, even to like the inspiration and the history that goes into the designs and everything like that. I mean, she was amazing at explaining how she traveled around just to get like new ideas and new inspiration to really embed the culture into the designs. I mean, how cool is this?
We then continued the journey to our next destination, which highlighted the typical food traditional to Sukabumi City, which is mochi. So we visited the Mochi Bakat Jaya to see and experience the process of making and consuming this traditional Sukabumi food. Apparently, upon arrival, we discovered that the texture is chewy with a sweet taste and with the iconic peanut butter filling. This also, impressed me and made me excited to see what else our journey held in store.
Yeah, I don't know about the skills we got to show off because I was definitely struggling rolling the mochi. However, it was still fun and I was determined to at least get a few good mochi bowls under my belt before we left. However, I found it interesting too that they still do it the traditional way rather than using a blender to mix it because it completely changes the taste apparently. So they can really keep that, authentic flavor by doing it. Man, if you guys go back there and see it, he was working out putting it in there. So it was quite impressive seeing the whole process.
Continuing our journey, on that same day, we actually got to experience some traditional Sukabumi music and dance to explore the arts and culture of the Sundanese people.
Hey, Jordan here again. So we are at the Gita Studio, which is a place for that teaches lessons in the classic Sundanese dance, which is what again? Jump on? Yeah, remember that. So we just got to watch them practice a little bit, both guys and girls. So the feminine form is much more, obviously flowy, more vibey, whereas the masculine version of the dance exudes much more power in what they do, which is super cool to see that. These guys are so talented, both the girls and the guy. Extremely gifted. They definitely know their craft, their artwork, what they're doing. Beautiful. And then we actually got to watch, so there's a competition here in March, here in a few weeks in Jakarta. So there's about 7 of the girls who are going to be performing their own routine as well. We just got to see a little snippet of that. So good. It was amazing. I mean, we even got to try as well just a few steps of Ikuti, and it was hard enough as is, but super great getting to experience all this. If you would like to see this in person as well and get to practice your dance moves as well, come discover Indonesia with us. In Sukabumi, I've discovered a whole slew of wonders, ranging from the beauty of just the nature around me, it's truly fascinating, as well as I've gained a deeper understanding of both the cultural and traditions and the massive diversity that this area has to offer. It's really helped me grow and mature, just being more appreciative of all the cultural diversity I'm surrounded by here today.
After exploring all the unique gems the Sukabumi Regency had to offer, our journey continued on to the next adventure, which took place in central Java and finished in Bali, specifically Yogyakarta and Kuta. After our eventful 12-hour bus travel over land from Sukabumi all the way to central Java, we reached Borobudur Temple, a temple whose reliefs depicted the Buddhist journey through life, as well as the teachings that led him to fully reach nirvana. Truly a remarkable sight.
So welcome back, Jordan here. As you can see, we're at the top of Borobudur, which as you can tell is very circular to formulate the sense of nirvana that you get from reaching the top of this, so the final stage of enlightenment as well in the Buddha's faith. So this place has just been amazing. How everything too has this bell theme to it, because back then the stupa is a very religious just architectural design. So the temple itself, and if you look around even behind me, all these bells signify that call to spiritualism that you just see all throughout Buddhism. The reliefs tell a whole story as well as you walk up. Truly magnificent. The design, the detail that went into every little bit here. Amazing.
Tour guide then told me that there are even more interesting historical sites in the area, namely Prambanan Temple. This temple, instead of being Buddhist, has Hinduistic influence and depicts a legendary story involving the love between Prabhu Boko and Roro Jangrang. Interested in this story and new revelation.
Hey, so Jordan back here again. Today we're at the Prambanan Temple. So unlike yesterday at Borobudur, which was a temple of the Buddhist faith, we are here at a Hindu temple today. So as my friend August already went over the general information, in the Hindu religion there are 3 gods that are ranked above all else, and specific to Jawa is Shiva. So Shiva is the god of destruction, whereas you also have Vishnu and Brahma. As you can tell behind me, that very large temple right there is actually dedicated to Shiva. It contains 4 statues of the goddess themselves, whereas the other 2 on either side only contain 1. If you also notice too, there are 3 smaller temples in the front to represent the chariot animals that resides under each god. So super cool. As you can tell just from the rocks themselves, same material, so everyone's using that lava rock in this area. Funny story is, the reliefs all over it tells a story through 56 different depictions about the prince here, Rama, who, did all of this for love. The story goes something along the lines of he was, proposed his love in marriage to this beautiful princess here in Jawa. But there's one condition: he must build 1,000 temples in a single night. However, she was not in love with him and purposely tried to stop his production, resulting in him not finishing. Found out she tried to sabotage him and then turned her into stone. So there's actually a statue here located in the center of the princess, and it's supposed to represent her physical form turned to stone after the story. So come follow us as we discover Indonesia on the Nusa Putra Discover Indonesia trip. Thank you.
At this point, I had visited 2 separate UNESCO World Heritage Sites, both in Central Java and the special region of Jogja. As mentioned prior, these locations were Borobudur Temple and Prambanan Temple, showcasing both the Buddhist and Hindu side of things. Honestly, I got a rich and deep experience about the cultural heritage that this country has to offer, as well as the beauty of the different religions in the past. After visiting Prambanan Temple, we continued our journey to the next destination. It was about 17 kilometers from there. This place was called the Yogyakarta Hadingrat Palace. Before visiting the palace though, we had to stop for lunch at this beautiful restaurant with the palace architecture that had a European feel inside. After lunch, we decided to continue to the palace, where I was taken on a tour to see the historical and traditional objects of the Yogyakarta Palace, such as clothing, vehicles, as well as the unique historical artifacts the palace had to offer.
Hello, Jordan here again. So here we are at the Sultan's Karatan, or palace, as we know it in English. So this is a beautiful monument here in Jogja. Obviously, it's home to the Sultan himself, which is kind of unique here in Indonesia, despite the fact that he's the only governor of an area who's never elected. So this area is quite unique in the fact that they still recognize the Sultanate royal family and all of its practices to this day. It is pretty unique in the fact that it's divided into 7 different parts. Majority of those parts are for public, as well as more private celebrations depending on the whether it's wedding, funeral, birthday, really any kind of ceremony. If you look behind me, if you see these yellow doors, that is actually the personal area of the king himself. So, us peasants aren't allowed in there, but we can really see it from right here. Super cool. And as Noel already stated, we just got a whole lesson in the breakdown of what it's like to marry or be married in the Sultan's family.
After the palace, we then continued our journey to the next destination, which was a beautiful afternoon spent going about the famous road of Malioboro. There we walked up and down the shops, got to enjoy traditional foods, and I even collected myself a few batiks while at it. After visiting the different palaces and temples Yogyakarta had to offer, as well as Malioboro, we continued our journey to Solo, or Yogyakarta in Central Java. The first destination we came across here was a location called the Heritage Palace, which is a really cool tourist attraction here in Solo. It was once a sugar factory during the Dutch colonial eras that has since been converted into a cool museum that houses both classical vehicles and a 3D selfie gallery, where you have different scenarios and scenes you and your friends can take awesome pictures at.
Hey, Jordan here again. So we're at the end of our little excursion just through the Classic Car Museum, and fun surprise is right when we got through it, there was this really cool little area for selfies. So there's all these cool little landscapes and little scenarios to throw yourself in there. I got some pictures with Spider-Man, so that's always cool. Also, just really fun stuff. Definitely, like Noel said, brought out my inner child. So cool to get to see. And if obviously if you want to do that along your Discover Indonesia trip, then come join us with Nusa Putra with the Studi Indonesian program. Thank you, and keep following us.
The next location we found ourselves on this wonderful journey was the Mangkunegaran Palace, which is located in Yogyakarta, Central Java. If you decided to visit this palace, what you'll have in store waiting for you is the typical royal building architecture, as well as a beautiful museum displaying a multitude of art, historical artifacts, and unique cultural heritage that you can only find here in the Mangkunegaran Kingdom. But there are also some other cool things as well, such as beauty products, typical from the royal family.
So, Jordan here again on our Discover Indonesia trip. So, after leaving lunch earlier today, we made our way to Solo, where we get to experience our second palace in just 2 days. So, what's unique about Solo is that early on, back say 300, 400 years ago, there was a family issue going on within the royal family of this sultanate area, so it split in two, and we were actually in the second half. So it's called the Middle Palace, where in Jogja we were at the Big Palace yesterday. This one is beautiful, especially due to the fact that it is just full of European, Chinese, and Indonesian architecture and artwork.
After leaving the palace here in Yogyakarta, we then traveled a little bit down the road to visit a Batik shop, where we got to buy really cool souvenirs and amazing Batik memorabilia.
So now that we've left where those wonderful ladies were creating the Batik, we are now in the store itself, that where the Batik factory sells all the products they get done finished making. I've actually picked out 30 sarang already for my mother and my two little sisters. And if you look too, they're all the same color, but all different motifs. So, they can match, but they don't feel like they all have the same thing. And I'm debating whether or not to get myself a shirt as well.
Like with any good time, it seems that it all ends so quickly. Without even realizing it, we had spent 3 days in Central Java, Jogja, Solo, and now it was time to visit our next location, where we had to cross the Bali Strait by ferry and explore the unique tourist and educational destinations that Bali has to offer. Finally, after an exhausting journey of 13 hours by bus, we had finally reached Bali. First location we decided to go to was the Garuda statue. However, on the way, we noticed an immense difference in architecture and traditions as we were traveling through Bali. As you know, Majority of Indonesia tends to be Muslim, where Bali is unique in the fact that it is predominantly Hindu, which is evident in the buildings and the culture.
Hey, Jordan here. So we are now standing right in front of the Garuda statue, which is the largest statue dedicated to Vishnu in all of the world. I mean, I even looked it up. It is a solid 25 meters bigger than the Statue of Liberty in my home country. So behind me, well, actually ahead of me, as you walk forward, you walk through what is called the Festival Park as well as the Lily Pond, which are iconic to scenes of Nirvana, where it is just these shaved out, like massive cliffs with waterfalls all pouring into them. So they did a really good job of recreating that here. And as you continue your way up to the statue itself, you get to notice how it is built in pieces. So it's relatively new. And if you look, there's solid lines actually at right angles where you can tell it was built in a block formation. Also within the statue itself, me and Mr. Aoi discovered that there are also there's a bit of an art gallery going on as well. So as you walk down, you get to see all these depictions of the stories unfolding, as well as a more symbolic form of what this statue actually stands for. So much more graphic.
Following our visit to the statue, we then continued south to Uluwatu, where we got to go to another Hindu temple and witness the Kecak dance. And if you've never experienced this, I highly recommend you do. It is a traditional Balinese dance that does not use music or instruments, but instead it uses the vocal sounds of a whole choir of male dancers who respond to each other using the word Kecak rhythmically. This sound creates a very distinct vibe and accompanies the dance movements, which are often performed in the evening right before sunset. This set the landscape for a beautiful scene of the Bali Sea.
Hello, Jordan here again. So we are currently at the temple in Uluwatu, where we just got to watch the Kecak dance, which was so cool. Oh my gosh. I was grinning from ear to ear the whole time. It's super unique in the fact no instruments are used. It is solely just an army of guys, bare-chested, just going, it was amazing. Literally the showmanship by all the actors involved, truly phenomenal. So trust me, this is something you don't want to miss. And if you'd like to see it yourself, come discover Indonesia with us.
Honestly, with all we had seen on the first day, it felt like it had actually been several days. So of course, after a long day, we need to rest. So we decided to lay our heads down in a very nice hotel that we had found in the Ikuti area of Bali. In my opinion, this hotel had a very good location as well, with stores, shops, and as well as good food in the surrounding area. So on the second day, we continued our journey to the Karangasem area near Mount Agung to visit Tetimoni Park. In my opinion, this park was so much fun and reminiscent of a water palace. We got to hop around the different little sites here and even go on a boat ride and feed fish, which I found quite fun. The place was full of history, legends, and stunning architecture. In my opinion, this was definitely a park you don't want to miss out on.
Hey, Jordan here. So we're here at Tetimoni in East Bali. Beautiful place. So it's considered a water castle, water palace, very similar to what we saw the Sultan use back in Jogja. However, we are now in Bali, so whole different culture altogether, while it's still in Indonesia. This place is beautiful. The statues, the ponds, I got to feed some fish, I touched a few, and I got to ride on this cool boat all around here. We had a whole entourage of fish following us, super cool. Great place for pictures, just fun with family, or just fun with friends. So, if you want to experience something like this with you and your friends, come discover Indonesia with us.
We continued the journey to Tangerang village, one of the traditional villages in Karangasem, Bali. However, before arriving there, we of course had to stop and get some lunch, fill up our bellies. The restaurant we decided to stop at had an amazing view with beautiful vibes and great food as well. We got to rejuvenate our energy with lunch and continue the journey to Tangerang village, where we were going to gain a whole new view on life.
Hey, Jordan here again. So we are at the Tangerang village, As I mentioned earlier, it's one of the few villages too, especially even in Bali, that has stuck to its, original architecture, original traditions. They haven't really been influenced at all by, the modern advances in society at the moment. Of course, they have, expanded into showing off what they have to offer through the tourism industry, which I feel is a wonderful way to still, make some income, but also preserve this as well, because, you get to share that awesome experience with anyone else who comes by. I actually saw some other Americans too earlier, so that was super cool. I mean, we're from the opposite side of the world and we get to experience, this history, this wonderful elegance that comes along with taking a step in the past. So we've seen chickens, dogs, cats, a cow, some cow poop. And I mean, it's so cool.
We continued our journey today to the beaches of East Denpasar, Bali. Specifically, Sanur Beach. There, we got to enjoy the sunset while swimming in the ocean. The next day, we were able to continue the journey to several more beaches on the island of Bali. The first location we went to was Tanah Lot, which is a temple for the Hindus located right along the beach. So here, Tanah Lot is actually unique in the fact it's one of the 4 protective Hindu temples that Bali has to offer, both in the east, the west, the north, and the south. Here we are actually on the east coast of the Bali island, where we also got to experience a sacred snake, which is a sea snake. And as you don't know, they are highly venomous. However, it was assured to me this is a holy snake, and he will not bite you. So I finally worked up the courage, and I was able to hold the snake.
Hey, Jordan here. So we are at Tanah Lot right now, which is one of the cardinal temples that guard and bring peace and prosperity to the Bali island. So of course, we have temples set up on the east, west, south, north, and as well as the mother temple dead set in the center to really empower the island with that sense of safety. So we are currently at the eastern temple that protects, as I said, cardinals, so you have your cardinal directions. So we are at the eastern temple that protects this side as well.
So following Tanah Lot, we took advantage of this next moment by going swimming, and we got to go out on a banana boat, which was pulled by a jet ski. This took place at Tanjung Beno, which was amazing. It had plenty of options for water sports and fun in the sun. Following that, we went ahead to Ikuti Beach, where we had some free time to swim, surf, and sunbathe. So we had an amazing time there as well. Of course, playing in the banana boat and swimming makes you very tired. However, we got to finish the day with a beautiful dinner on Jimbaran Beach, where we got to witness the sun setting and had an amazing meal along the sand itself. Without realizing it, the days had flown by, and we were now on our 4th day in Bali. As this being our last day on the island as well, we decided that our final destination would be the oldest museum in Bali, which was founded back in 1932. This museum is beautiful and has a very important role in preserving and showcasing Bali's cultural heritage.
Hey, Jordan here. So we are at the Museum of Bali at the moment, and currently we're on the 2nd floor going through the peaks of Balinese history throughout the years. So by peaks, I mean this is all before the large kingdom that unified the majority of Indonesia before colonialism. So this is kind of between the 12th century and the 15th century at the moment.
After another 12-hour journey via bus from Bali back to Central Java, we had made our way to the Sangguniang Museum, which is a museum that's dedicated to showcasing the ancient history of humanity. Along with my friends and the other staff members here, we got to immerse ourselves in this beautiful museum showcasing all these amazing things. I was ecstatic going through and listening to the tour guide through this. But it was also bittersweet knowing that this was our final destination after I got to experience all these amazing things and rich culture and traditions with the friends I had made along the way.
This place was remarkable in the fact that it showcased all of the trajectories and evolution paths that humanity has taken over the past few million years. Also, Sangguniang is unique in that, in fact, it's a hotbed for Homo erectus fossils. If you and your friends would like to experience something similar like this, remember Discover Indonesia through Nusa Putra University. We'll be tagging the website in this video as well, so be sure to check it out and discover Indonesia with us. I've had an unforgettable journey here with the Discover Indonesia program. I got to experience such a wide range of beautiful sights, amazing landscapes, and rich history that is so unique to this amazing country. If you would like to experience this as well, the Discover Indonesia program through Nusa Putra University is an amazing way to really embrace the cultural diversity, wonders, and charm that this amazing country has to offer. So don't walk, run to register yourself at sip.nusaputra.ac.id to have this amazing adventure yourself. Come discover Indonesia with us.